good day to one and all. It is time for the Sunday sermon, and we have had a great weekend of wrestling leading us into tonight's Survivor Series. That's right, it is time for the Survivor Series. We have made it to November, and I'm pretty happy with the way that WWE has made things run so far, as far as leading into tonight's show, between Raw and SmackDown, to NXT, which has been tremendous, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But this lead in to Survivor Series has been good. And I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I enjoyed a Survivor Series pay per view. It's always been kind of a, I guess, cast aside pay per view compared to some of the others, even though it's one of the longest running WWE pay per views there is. I can't remember the last time I really enjoyed a Survivor Series. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to have in less than an hour, I think. Yeah, it starts really soon. So, yeah, with NXT, with Wednesday's show, I went back and I watched that and was impressed with the way that these stories are being told. I think each match with the NXT pay-per-view, the Takeover War Games card last night, each story in each match was being really well told. I think the way that things played out was just, I mean, just really good. Without going into too much detail, I don't like to keep these shows about 15 minutes long or so I'm not going to cover every single match. But I will say this, I was watching NXT Takeover last night with somebody else that's just now getting back into wrestling. But he actually has not watched in a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean he hadn't watched wrestling since John Cena was feuding with The Undertaker. So we're talking like well over a decade. And of course, me, just now coming back into wrestling after a few years of, just not really enjoying it, being burned out. Finally got back into it this year. So we're coming into it as two lapsed fans. And so I got to actually be the one to explain to him, okay, so this is who this is, and this is why she's doing this is why we think she's going to turn heel. And it was kind of cool because usually, lately with me getting back into wrestling, I've had to be the one to have people explain to me who this character is, or, who this is, or why we shouldn't like this person, or blah, blah, blah. So it's nice to kind of be the one to do the telling, I guess. That was fun. And I hope I get to watch wrestling again with him too soon. It was fun last night because when you're watching with somebody that's been watching for a while, you kind of know what to expect. You kind of make your own predictions, things like that. When you're watching with somebody that hasn't seen it in a while, of course you're having to explain to them who this is, and kind of get their first impression of it, which is fun. And so I'd like to watch like a Raw with him or AEW Dynamite and just get his thoughts, compare notes, so to speak. So that was a good time. Other things going on. The Survivor Series itself, like I said, is going to come up very soon. Pre-show, I think it's going to start shortly. I will be watching that. I'm live tweeting it. And yeah, I'm actually going to enjoy this one. I don't know about next year's Survivor Series, but I think this one is going to be a good one. Looking forward to the way that they've got everything kind of triangulated with NXT and Raw and SmackDown, and seeing how that whole thing plays out. And then I think, we're going to end this year. WWE is going to end this year on a high note. I think, and this is just me, predicting, but without too much detail, I think something big's going to happen. Maybe like some big Royal Rumble returns. One or two big returns, I think, is all you really need to lead into a good WrestleMania season. But I think WWE is going to end this year really good. There was that little slag that we had, yeah, back before, in between, Crown Jewel and now. But I think that the way things are going, especially with tonight's Survivor Series, uh, yeah, WWE has a chance to end things really positively for this year and go into next year, especially going into WrestleMania season, huge around Royal Rumble time. So that's just my little predictions. And yeah, it's good to see. You like to see WWE doing well, because it's good for the whole business, of course. Um, but it makes the show just that much more worth watching when the stories are good and the characters are being used in the right way. NXT is a true example of that, at least right now it is. Other things going on. You've got now NWA Power. I already spoke pretty much, my whole piece on the whole Cornette situation earlier on last Wednesday, but it's still a thing. People are still talking about it, and since then, Cornette's even come out with his own side of things, and I just think overall it was a good decision that was made. I know it was Cornette that made the decision to step down, and I think eventually he realized it was going to happen sooner or later. He doesn't know how to not say stupid things, and he knows that his act is getting kind of old, I'm sure. He's got an audience for it, but it might as well be just limited to podcasting. And I say that because I've said it before. Cornette doesn't have the same staying power that some of these other newer and fresher commentators out there have. His jokes are the same jokes that he was telling, back in the 90s. Same old recycled things. And if you're new to Cornette, I guess, yeah, it's amusing. We all chuckled at them back in the day. But that's pretty much old hat, as the old folks say. So I think, yeah, eventually Cornette was going to have to step away from that position. So it's too bad that it had to happen on these terms. But like I said, you can't help but say ridiculous things that put you in a bad position. This is what happens. And I actually think NWA is in a great position now because they've got so many good potential replacements out there. If you could go back and watch some of these other promotions, if you go and watch Black Label Pro, or if you go and watch, Beyond Wrestling, you've got commentary teams that would be just as good, if not better, than Cornette was, and much fresher content than what he brought. So NWA is kind of in a good position, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing who they put in that place. And hopefully they'll take that ball and run with it, because, yeah, they need somebody fresh. They need somebody that's not just pretty much just a relic. And I say, yeah, good decisions were made, and NWA is in a good spot because of it. So that's positive. Other things coming up. You've got Thanksgiving on Thursday, and we've got wrestling. I've said before that I miss the Survivor Series, the kind of old way that it was when I used to enjoy it. And a lot of it was because it was on Thanksgiving night. That made it special. It really was kind of special. And I guess I'm not the only one that thought that way, because MLW has a Thanksgiving event, and Beyond Wrestling has a live Thanksgiving event, and it's gonna be good. They've got teams, just like Survivor Series teams, and Uncharted Territory. Just to let you know, if you are not subscribed to this channel yet, it is so much worth your money and worth your time. Yeah, these shows just get better and better each week. Uncharted Territory is, a great reason to sign up. But yeah, they're gonna have live wrestling on Thursday, and it's gonna be fun. And I am really ready for it. Let's see other things going on. You've got GCW. Yeah, they've got a show coming up this Wednesday. So the night before wrestling, you got wrestling. This whole week's gonna be great. Um, I think it's what Chopper City in the Hood or something like that. Something like that. But yeah, I'll be live tweeting that. I'll be writing a review on it. Um, so this week is going to be awesome. I'm just now thinking, how great it's going to be. You got, Survivor Series tonight. We had Takeover, War Games last night. Then of course you got Raw coming up on Monday. NWA Power Tuesday. Whole new scenario ahead for them. And Wednesday we got a GCW event. Thursday Thanksgiving. How great is that? So we can't complain. We should be thankful. That is what we should be thankful for. A whole week of good wrestling. Hopefully Monday's good. I think it will be, since WWE is on this upswing. No, we've got some good times ahead. And, like I said, when you're subscribed to things like IWTV.live, you get to be in on these great things. And Fight TV too. I mean, you wouldn't be able to watch GCW this Wednesday without Fight TV. So, I mean, for people that have this opinion as, oh, I'm already subscribed to this, and this, I strongly encourage you, if you have to replace one subscription with another, with the content, the amount of content that you get with IWTV.live, is worth it. And I'm not saying that you have to unsubscribe to WWE Network. I'm still subscribed to WWE Network, so I wouldn't tell anybody to unsubscribe. But anything else that you've got going on that doesn't offer the content, and we're talking so many independent promotions, and if you need a hiding place from AEW or WWE, all the drama that comes with the social media, from the ratings and blah, 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 I'm telling you, independent wrestling is a good place to just immerse yourself and remind yourself of why you do love wrestling so much. So think about that and consider it when you're thinking of your subscription. $10 a month is a pretty good deal for what you get. And then, of course, like I said, Fight TV with their shows, very much worth it. GCW is one of the greatest things going on. I think, quote unquote, underground right now. I don't know if you can say underground. A lot of people know about it, but they are considered the outlaws, of course, by some. But if you're watching that side of wrestling, it is the greatest thing going on right now. And so, yeah, subscribing and buying these shows, it's very much worth your time. So enjoy this week we've got of great wrestling. I will, of course, be checking in on Wednesday, right before the GCW show, I guess, and just to review how the week's going. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and enjoy the Survivor Series.